Best, and we also have one of the editors and cameramen from the film, Rob, who is here today. So if I can get both you guys to come on up. We saw the pictures of all the crews, but I wanted to hear about the people that really make the temples.
Fireman Dave, whose daughter died, I mean, that's like, he was the catalyst, oh God, who makes a temple? I mean, someone here, there's a number of people that I've met in the desert, and sometimes I can't remember anybody's names, but there's a husband and wife here who came up to me outside, and her niece had committed suicide, and she came up to me and said a bunch of nice things to me, and that's who made the temple, You guys are talking about building the food concession out on the playa, right? And Charlie came up to me, or a guy who was the engineer, and said, how can we do this ladder this way? Or he's concerned about structural issues. But you can see how concerned I am about structural issues. I mean, come on, he's the wrong guy. But the question of who makes something, as I said to him, he wanted to make a ladder this way, and I threw a curve at him, and I was a real pain in the ass person that I am. I said, why don't you make a wheelchair access to the top of your food stand? And I mean, what you're doing is, he said, well, how far can you, Charlie, forgive me if I'm using you too much as an example. He said, well, how far can you go? And I thought, how far can you go? Goddamn, go as far as you can, man, and go farther. Building a piece like that, the catalyst is to put a wheelchair ramp on, okay? You only have 3 people in the desert that are in wheelchairs, all right? So you guys bust your ass to build this car concession, and then you put a wheelchair ramp on it, and it's like, that's the magic of it, okay? So it's that one thing, when you ask who the key players, I mean, God, there's 150 people that come to this house or to my studio or wherever we go and load up crap and go to the desert. But what I always tell the crew is we only build it for one person. It's like, Charlie, you're only making that wheelchair ramp for one person in a wheelchair, but damn, 50,000 people turning around and making a wheelchair ramp for one person is a pretty significant statement, So, I don't know, the thing is made by a whole bunch of different people, A girl came up to me last year at the playa, and I mean, I'm kind of done with the temples, right? And, yeah, right. And I'm there, and, and she comes up to me and says, my best friend OD'd on heroin, and my other best friend committed suicide, and I want to thank you. God, how do you walk away from that? How do you not want to make another piece for someone, That's what I made it for that girl. When we had the Neil Young song, The Damage Done, it was about heroin.
Right.
And it was only for one person, And it's always the catalyst, if you start to build something, or fire, of all of us, if we start thinking about it being 50,000 people, we're overwhelmed, So it's always just one person. I'm trying to think of who it is. God, in this audience here, I was laying in bed the other night trying to think of, I'm not going to the desert next year, but geez, I rattle on. God. Jesus, I talk a lot. I was laying, trying to figure out the temple for 2012. I'm really putting my ass on the line with this one, but I was trying to figure it out. I was trying to figure out where to go with it. And I thought about, a mother, an insane mother. Okay, I thought about, and don't you guys raise your hand, please, on this, but probably a number of you in here have mothers that are either been institutionalized or have committed suicide or who are dysfunctional. Okay, and so I thought, okay, what's motivating me on the temple in 12 is the mother, that mad mother who's taken her life, or who's unable to function and just committed suicide. And I thought, I can tell that person, I can tell you that your mom's okay, all right? I can come up to you and say, you know, I know for a fact that your mother is all right, okay? Wherever she is. She's not in fucking limbo, because there is no limbo. She's all right, okay? Now, you need that. So I'll be damned, you're not gonna go, hey man, fuck off. You don't know what you're talking about. My mother's crazy as a loon and is committed suicide. You don't do that. You say thank you, because you need to hear it. And what I wanted to figure out, which is, you know, we're playing with this, and you guys are the stuff that we're building the temple with when you asked about building the temple. You know, I do that, you know, and I'm like this little guy up there telling everybody, hey, you know, hey, you, big guy, your mom died, you know, and it's your turn. It's going to be, in 12, I want the people that build the temple and the people that come out there to actually take charge of it more. You know, I want you to, you know, I want you to lie to someone and say, hey, you know, your mom's okay. You don't even know the person. But if you start to pretend you know that person, you'll be convincing. All right? You know, I have no goddamn power to heal anybody or to make anybody feel better. But, you know, it's like that thing in the car when I'm driving along saying, well, you know, if you try to wait until you have permission from the government or, you know, if you have a building permit or if you're a licensed psychiatrist or therapist, no one's ever asked me if I'm a priest or what credentials I have to tell someone else that it's okay about your daughter. You know, no one questions us. You know, no one's going to question any of us. And if so that's the game I'm playing with for 12, is to make all of you guys be like me, but taller. All right, that may be rattling. Yeah, it was rattling, but that seems to be when I do. Yeah.
If your artwork brings happiness to people, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm not arguing with it. I don't mind doing it, but another question. Yeah, it does. It is.
Accept yourself. It's okay.
He's giving you therapy.
Oh, okay, I'll do it. Yeah,
So if you guys haven't figured
it's
out,
tough.
yes, there's another David Best temple coming
It
in
is
2012.
tough to try to accept
I didn't think it was any good. I took it out to the play. Everybody loved it.
Well, they're just lying to you, man. They lie to me all the time.
Just go with it. It's okay.
Do we have another? Wait. I wanted to ask Rob a question. I want him to be able to talk.
No,
Well, I just wanted to mention, obviously, you can see that it's pretty easy to videotape David. You just point a camera in his general direction. It's not as easy to edit him. But unfortunately, we have a variety of editors and hundreds
that's
of
a
shooters.
compliment, not
Yeah,
an
of
insult.
course.